Hello, welcome to this edition of Real Truth. I wish to talk to the Soviet military problem now that we seems to be returning like a bad penny. Um, and I wish to put this out to Vladimir Putin. Um, Mr. Putin, if you're listening, understand this. You could have done a lot with Russia. My God, you have a completely empty canvas to paint. I mean, from the Urals all the way to Vladivostok, you have one hell of a lot of land. We could put two United States inside of it. You've got forests, mountain ranges. You have assets you haven't even begun to look for yet. You could take all the people in on the European side of the Urals, and you could send them out looking for stuff out there in the middle of side by side, out there in the middle of the other side of the Urals on the Asian side, and it would take them all their lives just to look and see what is out there. There is a lot out there, and it's not even developed yet. My God, it's unbelievable, and yet you seem happy as a clam to totally forget about it, to forget about them, to forget about the whole country as a whole. I mean, I'm just wondering, what are you waiting for? You you are making making wars and little wars on countries that used to be a part of the Soviet Union. Soviet Union is gone, dude. You're not bringing it back. Not even close to bringing it back. Ain't ever going coming back. Okay, get get it straight, please. What you can do is enriching it. You can do what Peter the Great did, and you should. Now, the military, let's look at the hypersonics, dude. You want to know why hypersonics will not work? It's real simple. Hypersonics needs to be catapulted using a rocket, and it can't be done from the ground. You have to do it from the air. And on top of that, there is friction. When you create friction and you create dynamic problems, it creates thermal problems. These thermal problems will take apart your craft like a cheap suit. You did a great job on the MiG-25. Let's face it, that was a hallmark. I mean, come on, that Mach 3 with a plane made of metal, that was pretty. That was pretty hoopy, pretty good. Stainless steel too. That was wild. But let's face it, we figured out that it needs titanium to work. And even though you have all the titanium in the world, dude, you can use it on a missile. That's pretty. That's getting up there like gold. I wouldn't be doing that if I was you. And on top of that, even if you were to make it out of there, there's problems with thermal. You pack up a missile with a whole bunch of conventional explosives, and you push it down at even at 20,000 feet at Mach 10. It's going to self-destruct because of the thermal capabilities will make the explosives highly um, highly unstable. They're just going to come apart like a cheap suit, blow the thing right out of the sky. So there you go. I mean, we're sitting back laughing at you, thinking, you're going to make a missile, right? Okay, make a missile. See if we care. If you try to fly it, it'll blow up. I mean, it's a known fact. Check your history. Go back. Look at Dr. Eugen Sanger's Silver Bird. He had the same idea of building a plane that could take off and fly all the way across the world, you using rockets. He said it would come off the track, which is 2 miles long, and it would be still on the ground doing Mach 1. Excuse me. If you had a plane doing Mach 1 on the ground, it would be 400 degrees inside the cockpit. Talk about giving a guy a heartburn, really, the hard way. Okay, we in the SR 71. Here's a known fact: They could not even fuel it on the ground. It had to be fueled in flight. And then even then, it was leaking fuel like a freaking sieve. Possibility of explosion way the hell up. The problem is it had to superheat in order to close in all the fissures in the skin. And then once they were done, it had to stay at high Mach, but it had to stay at very high altitude. That was the ticket. Something you don't understand. Now, let's go ahead and talk about military, your military capability. Doomsday devices. You got Satan. Wow, a 100 megaton nuclear bomb. Really? You can't fly it anywhere. It's too freaking big. You can't detonate it because it incinerates 50 miles, circular mile, 50 mile diameter. Wow, I'm really agog at that. Poof, really? The fact of the matter is that it's not a planet killer. You need about 1,000 of them to be a planet killer. And even then, it threw up a lot of shoot into the atmosphere. And guess what? Your people would probably die of radiation poisoning before we would. So it doesn't make sense. Then you had this idea, hey, let's go ahead and build a plane that has a nuclear motor. We did that. It was called Project Pluto. Not very smart. What it happens is that it ejects nuclear exhaust, which means that that anything in its flight line would be given a Chernobyl-like effect. You went through Chernobyl. Didn't you learn anything? And then, last but not least, World War III. Didn't you learn anything from the French nuclear testing off of Tahiti? Didn't you learn anything from that? Hole in the ozone layer? Not a good thing. How can you rule the world if there's no world to rule? I mean, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Besides, we have the total planet killer. Thanks to Donald Trump's daddy, who basically didn't know what the hell he had. And it just goes to show you just what Benjamin Franklin once said. The best kept secret is the one that it's in front of you. And you didn't see it. No, you were too busy. People were too busy with bombs and germ warfare. And no, we got to get this little place. We got to get this place. You had no idea what the hell you were doing, did you? So let me put it to you this way. Ukraine. What the hell was that all about? Okay, I can understand you were worried about your southern fleet. I mean, come on, dude. You were afraid of being cut off from your fleet. Okay, I can understand that. So why the hell didn't you move it to some place where you could maintain it? Why didn't you move it to the Kamchatka Peninsula, or why didn't you move it to there's got to be some little islands that you can buy, like maybe St. Helens down there. I mean, the British don't use it that much. Yeah, you could turn into you could buy it and turn it into, you got the money, dude. You're not exactly poor. You got gold, you got oil, you got minks, you got sables, you got caviar. Hello. I mean, you're not poor, okay? But you're not exactly rich either. But the fact of the matter is, it's just unbelievable. Now you got yourself, now you went and you started a war in a place that you don't need a war, just so you can get at your fleet. Okay, why in the hell didn't you just go ahead and run an election without starting a war and killing 300 people on board a 777 that I went and built? I have a problem with that, okay? I mean, really, all you had to do was basically make a deal. Maybe the guy's a Republican, But oh no, you had to go in there making a big deal about it. Haven't you ever heard of? I mean, you were in the KGB, weren't you? You weren't in the stupid what do they call it? That place over there where they go yeah to the prime premier. What's his name? The Politburo. You weren't in that mess, were you? Then why in the hell are you acting like that? All you had to do was make a deal. Say, I want the right of way to go to my base. Okay. would you sell us that? I'm sure they would have done a deal with you. Hell yeah. You could have said, hey, look, we'll give you 10,000 gallons of oil a year if you just let us get to our base. Hello. It's a lot cheaper than hiring all those Spetsnaz and all the other knots and all the other idiots that think you're going to come across. Come on. You could have made a deal, and you didn't. You could have moved your stuff to the Crimea and then bought the Crimea, for God's sake. How do you think we got Alaska? We bought it. Maybe you might want to be thinking a little bit more like us. It's easier that way. It's smarter that way. And it makes you not look so foolish in the eyes of the world. Then you had to go down in Syria. Oh, and look, I don't care if you go down to Syria. It's a mess anyway. I don't see what profit there is outside of having a base in the Med. Okay, you got a base in the Med. Wow. You think they're going to let you keep it? Don't forget, those goat herders and holy rollers, they don't like you atheists. That's the way it works. So there you go. What are you going to do? Yeah, kind of a sad commentary. Okay, next you've got the salt tree that was just deleted on IRBMs. In case you haven't noticed, we found a way to take out the IRBMs. It's called the Patriot Missile and THAAD. Really, you really think that's going to work? Nah. Now, your basic smart thing that you can possibly do right now is make a deal. Show that you've got more on the ball than the war. I would go down there and I'd talk to Georgia and I'd talk to Ukraine. I go down in person. Say, enough. And then I would basically say, we'll make an oil deal with you. Keep you happy. Won't cost you a dime. Yeah, I think that'd be very, very cool. And then if you want to fuel up, and then the best way, success is showing that you've got more on the ball than these. Success is showing that you can actually get things done through peace. Success is being rich. Nothing like that. When you got somebody who doesn't like you and you're in competition with them, there's nothing like success to prove it. And success comes from money. And not trying to take things over, but trying to work with them. Remember, you kill somebody's father, you kill somebody's brother, you kill somebody's aunt, and their kids are going to come after you. And you don't need that. And then you got the people at home who are just pissed off and fed up with your constant, gee willikers, we need to get the old Soviet Union back. No, they don't want it back. Half of them are saying, that's cool, we don't want it back. Okay? So you might want to rethink that situation. Now, Europe doesn't mind your fuel. Europe wants to buy it. Europe only wants to make sure that you don't go off your nut. It's better to be in commerce than it is to be at war. And who the hell needs it? Who the hell needs that aggravation? We're coming into a whole new century of innovation, practical ideas. And if we're smart and we use them and we develop them, we'll go down in history as being the greatest of the greatest. I saw what you did out there on the Olympics. That was a piece of hoopy technology. And if I had had the chance, I would have loved to have gotten into a MiG-25 with you, gone up there above the clouds, looked over the Ural Mountains and say, hey, look, you got a lot more to develop. That's what I would have said. He probably would have had a good laugh. We probably would have swapped vodkas when you come down. But let me tell you something. You really, really, really need to get off this pariah kick. It's not doing you or Russia any good. So, saying that, this is Glenn MacArthur signing out for the absolute truth.